Okay, folks, turn 33. Lots of interesting stuff happened this turn, but first of all, we got Lu Pin, who is another one of Tianqi's national heroes. Now, Lu Pin is actually a really interesting one because he is not only quite a powerful mage and a priest, he's also actually a decent thug. He's got this Fly Whisk, which does fatigue damage, and then he also has the Demon Slayer, which does triple damage versus undead and demons, which means against undead and demons, it hits super hard. On top of that, his stats are good, he can fly, and of course he is immortal. So if you give him gear, I mean, you don't have to give him gear because he's immortal. If he dies, he just comes back. But if you'd like, you can give him gear and make him quite an effective anti-undead / demon thug. In fact, you can, with his high stats, you can kit him out pretty reasonably well to fight a lot of people. At the moment, I'm just gonna have him be sitting at home, basically, because I don't have anything real important I need him to do right now. He could be casting Vile Water, or I could just have him researching. I'm just gonna have him research for the moment. A flying sword dude will be useful, but he definitely needs some armor because his protection is 0. And you know, there's various other things that we can do with him, but those are for the future. For now, needed to let my mouse go for a second. For now, he's just going to sit here and research. We were raided by another Scrotty, or by the same Scrotty actually. He came down here. Unfortunately, he killed a Celestial Master. This was totally my mistake. I just didn't anticipate that he would attack Swamp of Solitude. And so, he came down here, and he caught Yazi, the Celestial Master, who was Heir 2. And, yeah, it went pretty badly. Yazi was dropping buffs and summoning Phantasmal Warriors and generally tiring himself out. And then Mr. Scrotty ran all the way to the back, and everybody started to run away, and Yazi was unconscious. So he got stabbed to death. Just like that. Boom. So that's a few hundred gold down the drain. But in any case, we're doing fine. It'll be alright. We will survive. We cast Dark Knowledge, and we actually found a Garden of Bones. So our death income is up to 3 per turn, which is pretty neat. We continue to cast... We can't actually cast Dark Knowledge anymore because we're out of death gems. So Alalia will just research for a turn, and then next turn we'll start casting Dark Knowledge again. We'll be able to cast it for a couple more turns. These ladies are moving back to the fort because, once again, this army, it's large. I don't like it. I don't know why Bandar Log is building up such a huge army here unless he's planning to attack me. So that is definitely something that I do not want. I am building a temple down here in Ulm with Tai Yi. We're going to get back to recruiting mages in Ulm, and we're also going to get back to recruiting some Imperial horsemen in Ulm. I wish I had more resources, but we'll kind of have to see how that goes. Now, these provinces over here have been overtaken by independence, which is fine, but we are going to have to reclaim those, we are going to have to claim this throne, and we'll also have to take this throne and claim it pretty soon here. I could probably do that just by sending in a communion and having them summon a ton of earth elementals. Because, like, I could drop a pretty substantial communion on Zenthra's head right now. In fact, I might. Not much point in waiting, after all. Now, some significant lack of Holy 3 is my only problem. I've got Hosinku, but she's healing people in the army. Yeah, you can see she's healing 3 afflictions per turn, which is why this army is as little afflicted as it is. And it's still got significant afflictions. I mean, anytime you have hundreds and hundreds of troops, you're going to have afflictions. But you can see here, most of these troops are very unafflicted. That one poor longbowman has had it rough. But beyond that, not many. And a large part of that is because of the contributions of our healers. There's still quite a few, but, you know, they add up. What can I say? Afflictions happen. These troops I don't think have seen combat. So, yeah. She is gonna, I think, fly away. How far can she fly? 2 provinces? Yeah, I don't want to do that. Just keep besieging. Jotunheim is critically damaged, and so should break next turn. So we will have plenty of troops. I think I'm going to send Swanmi down there to take that out. No, actually, I want his troops. Because I want the infantry. Let's move in here. So we'll take Jotunheim, and that will give us 3 capitals, which is fantastic. That will be amazing, and then we'll build a temple here. And we'll be in business. We will be deep, deep in business. I've given Yana here a Thistle Mace, and that is because she can use that Thistle Mace to cast. She should be able to cast Foul Vapors now. Where's Foul Vapors? There it is. Yes, she can cast Foul Vapors. So now she can poison people to death. I do have to spam Poison Ward quite a bit if I'm going to be doing that with a large army at least. But worth it. Super, super worth it in some circumstances. And we're continuing to recruit Jade Sorceresses. I actually don't need to give her that at the moment because I don't need to use her for that at the moment. And of course, any of my Nature 2 Imperial Alchemists can also use that to cast Foul Vapors. But yeah, so right now we're kind of in a holding pattern over on this side. I'm going to take Lyric over here so I have some infantry when I go attack that throne. I have given him 22 crossbows and chaff infantry. Actually, I'll tell you what, I don't need the crossbows. I need the chaff infantry first. And then that's a magic being. I can take the cavalry as well. Yeah, that'll be fine. I won't bother to take the magic beings just yet. We'll just kind of mix in a few of the crossbows for funsies. And he will get over here. Over here, we're also pumping out archers steadily. We're continuing to do that. So that will give us a significant ranged component. And Huji can start to research for the nonce. And that, I think, is basically going to be the turn. It'll be an interesting question to see what Ashdod does next. He's got Zamzamites here. He's got a fort there. Fortress there is still full of long dead and go. Oh. How did I miss that? How did I fail to notice that? Okay, so this is a Garnet Amazon province. Yeah, Ashdod with blood magic is super, super bad news. I mean, anybody with garnets is very, very dangerous. Ashdod with garnets is like a huge, huge problem. So that means I'm going to have to attack Ashdod next, basically, because he'll fight a war over garnet sorceresses, and so will I. So we need to do that pretty quickly. I mean, if you watched Accidental Ascension, I think Accidental Ascension will be finished uploading by this time, but if you've watched Accidental Ascension, you will know exactly how dangerous a Garnet Amazon province is. So that has to stop immediately. So Lyric, actually head up this way, go over there, banner, collect some troops. These Imperial Geomancers should move north. We're recruiting Geomancers there. Here we've got a few Geomancers. We're going to take those feathers back because the Geomancers are going to be our main force. We're going to give New Yu... Actually, let's give Sun Wukun a Crystal Matrix. And let's give Lu Jing a Clam of Pearls. So you, and you can all move up there. Great. And we'll send Lutung Pin as well. That'll be fine. This is a little bit of a research hit, but I can scrape together a pretty substantial little communion within wait, hold up. Going over there is the fastest method, but I can't guarantee that I won't be hit by a Jotun werewolf in the process. So that would be super bad, and I don't want to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 6 could theoretically probably take a Jotun werewolf by far striking him to death, but I don't want to risk it. And like best case scenario, I would still lose some of them, so not really worth it. We'll just move away. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad. I don't like it because it's bad. It's bad and I don't like it. Yeah. Yep. That is the long and short of it. Lutung Pin is going to take my units here. And move up that way. Okay. Great. Fantabulous. Everything's gonna be alright. Stop recruiting them. Recruit more of them instead. Flaming arrows will not be terribly effective against Ashdod. So, that has derailed my plans somewhat, but it's okay. We will persevere. We're going to make it through this, especially once we take Jotunheim's capital. Taking that out shouldn't be a problem. It does mean I need to end my non-aggression pact with Ashdod, but I kind of saw that coming. So, Ashdod is definitely going to be the next target. So in any case, thanks for watching, and I will see you all in turn 34. Okay, folks, welcome back to Mandala, turn 34. This has been actually kind of a setback turn, and let's take a look at why. If we look at our messages, so messenger from Is is clearly besieging Ermor, which is great. That's fine by me. We've hit alteration level 6, so we can cast Manifest Vitriol now, and we've hit Thaumaturgy level 3. Fantastic, we're making progress. Casting Voice of Apsu didn't find anything, and we've summoned another Living Mercury, which is great. Pangea has a new prophet, and so does Ulm. Ulm has a commander of Ulm as their prophet, which can only mean that Ulm still owns, Ulm still has a territory down there, and they still own some of this. Also, Nazca is under siege by Pangea and under attack by Shinuyama. So that's great, question mark? It puts me in kind of an awkward position, and this is why. Battle in Jotunheim, and in this battle, we got to see a full power, fully fledged Turbo Communion in action. So they have 9 Gigyas with shrouds, so they are themselves regenerating, and they're backed up by 4 Jotun werewolves who are shrouded and regenerating. So this is a full power, I mean, as I said, this is a full power, full scale, this is why the Jotunheim line is scary. Turbo Communion. They've got some Glossos that they've summoned. They've got a whole bunch of wolves that they've summoned. They've got Gandalf the Prophet with a charcoal shield, and they've got a whole bunch of Garm Herdings and some Veti hags who are here to kind of be a nuisance. So this is their capital garrison they've deployed. On my side, I have an enormous army of the Chinese. Infantry, crossbows. I've got my communion of little old men back here somewhere. Where are all my little old men? Where are my little old men at? There they are. There's my little old men all lined up like that. I've got another pack of infantry back here. I've got cavalry. I've got one random Yeti. I've got more cavalry, the works. I have brought the works. And watch what happens here. So we're all communioning up. The crossbows and archers start firing and wipe the wolves out instantaneously, pretty much. Like half of them are killed and the rest just rout. I'm throwing my buffs. I'm about to cast flaming arrows. Another volley of bolts into the backs of the wolves as they run. Now the Glossows are advancing. Now Glossows are basically immune to fire, and they regenerate because they're blessed, and the blessing includes regeneration. So the flaming arrows part doesn't hurt them anymore. We've got the meteors starting to fall. This is really, really good. Dropping meteors on this pack back here is what I need, because meteors kill Gigyas and Jotun Scrati in one hit, right through all of their protection. However, my cavalry is getting mucked up because the Skelespam is starting. And this is a problem. Like a real problem. You can see here, they've got 4 communion slaves, so the Scrati are communion slaves. Magic boost of 2 kicks them up to death 3, and the Scrati are regenerating at 30%, which means they're regenerating about 15 hit points a round. Actually, more like 17. They're regenerating 17 hit points a round, if I'm not mistaken. What that means is they can support 17 communion masters, or it depends on the exact details, but I believe in this case, with death 1 minimum, pushes them up to death 3, I think they can support at least 10. So all of these Gigyas are casting constantly, without any worry about the slaves. And as the skeletons come out, and as the Glossos get closer, they are distracting the gifts from heaven. So the gifts from heaven are dropping on my own troops, and they're dropping on Glossows who are not actually important to the armies. You can see here, that round I got a lot of friendly fire. I've got my Earth Elementals out, and Earth Elementals are an okay answer to Skelespam, but there's not enough of them. So what happens here is, watch. The Skelespam gets too intense, way too intense. And the Garm Herdings mixed into the Skelespam, they do enough damage, they chop the Earth Elementals down very, very quickly. So, the gifts from heaven get distracted off into the undead. They do an okay job clearing out the undead, but they also do some friendly fire. And in the process, they are not shooting at what actually needs to die, which is the giants in the back. So, the undead rout my infantry. As my ammunition starts to run out, my archers charge into the fray. We can look at my communion back here now. you can see that my communion is down to, my communion still has 14 communion slaves. We're up to 22 fatigue on a communion master there. And where are my communion slaves? Back here, communion slaves up over 100 fatigue. So we're still doing okay on the communion. My communion is actually very well self-sustaining. But you can see the meteors are causing a lot of friendly fire. And back here, some of the Gigas have died, but not all of them. There were 9 at the start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've managed to kill 3 with meteor hits. But killing 3 is not enough at this point. Most of my infantry is dead. In fact, pretty much all of it is dead. It's only my archers and random bugs going into melee at this point. And that is not enough. So the undead keep coming, and as the undead keep coming, my archers are not able to cut through them. My archers start to rout. Then when my archers start to rout, they're routing through my other squads. So my other units start to rout, including my mages. And you can see my mages are broken here. A bunch of my Imperial crossbowmen and such are still on the field, but they can't kill the undead as fast as the undead can come. So my whole army routs off the field. That is the power of the Neefel Skeletal Spam Turbo Communion. There's only a couple of nations who can spam skeletons as well as Gigyas with Scrotty backup. Like, really, I think the only real competition in that sense is Early Age Saromatia. They're both very, very good at it when you have this kind of powerful communion. So it's very, very difficult for an army to stop this. One way to stop it would be if I could spam a ton of Soul Slay. That could do it. Gigas have high magic resistance, like a lot of magic resistance. But if you can spam enough Soul Slay, you can punch through, and Soul Slay ignores HP and defense and protection and all that. It's a magic resistance check or die. So, could be worthwhile. Since almost all of the troops on the field end up being skeletons, there's relatively few targets, so you've got pretty decent chances of hitting a critical part of the communion. But in any case, my army routes, and the undead swarm back here, and they kill a whole bunch of my mages. So, if we look at the battle, you can see Jotunheim took pretty significant losses. To be honest, as I have said this before, but just looking at the casualty counts, it's not as one-sided as it looks. My Imperial crossbowmen scored a ridiculous number of kills, by the way, as did the longbowmen. On those skeletons were going down left, right, and center. The Imperial geomancers also scored a ton of kills, but once again, almost entirely skeletons. If you look at the numbers, it looks awful, awful, awful for me. It's not quite as bad as all that, because Garm Herdings actually cost almost as much as my Imperial geomancers. So by killing 26 Garm Herdings, Glossows are a summon, and so are wolves, so those only cost gems. But killing 26 Garm Herdings, that's well over 1,000 gold by itself. 3 Gigyas is about 700, so 1,700 gold. Almost all of the units that died here cost me about 10 to 12. So it's still a lot. Like, I took the worst of this exchange, but if you just look at this, then you go, well, you know, it's not quite as bad as all that. Maybe a 2-to-1 exchange. That would be okay. Until you look at the other battles. In Old Giant Woods, we were hit by another Jotun werewolf, Thug, another Scrotty, and in Silver Grove, we were hit by a Veti chief leading a whole bunch of wolves who overran the province defense. So the net result was the army in Jotunheim died during the retreat. The whole army. So, yeah, that was a very serious reverse for Tianqi's arms, unfortunately. Thrones of Gaia attacks have stopped. One last attack took a province away from Pangaea. Bandar Log attacked Independence in Junal Forest, took their province back. And that was basically all that happened during that turn. So, we have suffered a serious reverse. Jotunheim has busted out, and our army has been destroyed. Now, fortunately, since I'm Tianqi, we have reserves. Because I have a whole bunch of mages standing around. I've already got the small reserve army here. I've got a lot of mages there, a lot of mages there, a lot of mages here. Pretty decent group of mages in Ulm, some mages in Tianqi, and quite a few mages in Pergami. So I can replace those losses. The problem here is, the main problem, Elf Poser, the player, will not talk to me, and so I can't trust that he's not going to come in and try to attack me now. Attacking me with a Turbo Communion, risky, very, very risky, but possible, and Ashdod has Garnet Sorceresses, so I have to take this away from him. Like, that has to happen really soon. I really, really don't want to be fighting Jotunheim and Ashdod at once. Like, the situation has changed somewhat here. I don't know where Ashdod's troops are. I don't know if they're continuing to push into Jotunheim. I'm not sure I would bet on it. And given that, I am having trouble risking, like, pushing this war in a serious way, because I've got to take every turn I don't take this away, he gets another blood mage. And even a small blood economy for Ashdod is going to be a huge problem later on. Like, a huge problem. I cannot I can't oversell this. It's going to be bad. So, we are going to have to deal with that. Now, I'm summoning Living Mercuries and Manifesting Vitriol. I'm casting Voice of Apsu pretty hard. The reason is, of course, that my water gem income is not great. And both Green Lions and Living Mercuries cost water gems. Now, I'll be wanting to rely more on Green Lions than Living Mercuries. That's going to require me to hit Conjuration level 6, so that I can put water bracelets on my Water 1 Imperial Alchemists, so that they can summon Green Lions. I have 3 right now. I'm going to need to recruit some more, but I also need to get a Celestial Master who randoms Air 2, so that I can summon Celestial Soldiers. Unfortunately, the one that I had died when Swamp of Solitude was attacked. So, I'm building up troops here. In this province, I'm actually recruiting 2 eunuchs. I've got a whole bunch of archers, a bunch of troops that are coming with me there. Lutung Pin is leading his army to attack Ghent, and then he's going to double back. We're going to retake the Swamp of Solitude. I have a lot of money. I'm going to start building forts. Down here, Mohihai is patrolling for 1 more turn. I'm recruiting 2 more eunuchs, as well as an Imperial Geomancer. Getting a few more Imperial Horsemen, and then we're going to take that army and move out. Actually, I have 107 recruitment points, so considering that, I'm going to cancel a couple of those guys. Because my limit here is recruitment points as opposed to resources. So, we are going to recruit something that takes more recruitment points than resources, or at least equal. Well, there's nothing really... This is one problem that I'm starting to run into. I'm ending up alternately resource capped and rec point capped in different places. And it's kind of difficult to handle. Just go ahead. Recruit cavalry. Cavalry are good. Imperial horsemen are very good, so I've got a whole bunch of them. So, I'm also worried about this. Like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, it seems like Bandar Log is gearing up to attack me. Now, I have a non-aggression pact with Bandar Log, but the fact that they have this big stack lining up here, because it's growing, like, they're not moving troops out of this area, means that I can't really free up these units. I need the units that are being recruited here, and I need, more importantly, the mages, in order to ward off Bandar Log. I'm a little bit concerned about all that. So these troops are moving over this way, but it's kind of going to have to be these forts supporting all the war efforts in this direction, while these forts support defense in this direction. I really can't afford to lose a whole bunch of land to Bandar Log right now when I'm already embroiled in a war that's not going great. I mean, it could be worse, but it could definitely be better. In terms of research, then, the counter to this, as I said, is probably Soul Slay. I can mass a lot of Soul Slay if I need to, and so that is going to be a decent way to deal with all those giants. So that's Thaumaturgy 5. So Thaumaturgy 5 we should get in 2 turns. After that, I need Construction level 6, so I can spam out Green Lions, which will be a very, very good force multiplier. After that, I want to hit Conjuration level 6, and I'd like to do that fairly quickly. Conjuration level 6 will not only let me call Celestial Soldiers, it will also let me contact Huli Jing, who are very, very good stealthy nature mages with randoms. As I said before, they're exactly the same as Kitsune. So, this is going to take me 2 turns. After that, I think Conjuration Construction level 6 will take me 2 turns, and then Conjuration level 6 should only take me 1 by that time. So in 5 turns, turn 39... Ignore the music in the background, by the way. That is my roommate has just started watching something, apparently. John Mellencamp. So, turn 39, I think I should have all that research done. Now, I have some other options. Unfortunately, they're not very good against Jotunheim. For example, I can use these ladies to cast Foul Vapors. Foul Vapors, regrettably, will actually injure me more because all of his important units regenerate very, very quickly, and so the poison isn't going to kill them. His Scrati and his Gigyas, when they're in communion, they all regenerate quite a bit, like at least 20%. So they're regenerating, 10 hit points a turn and up. Basically, I'm kind of getting into a situation where I'm a little bit overstretched, which is super, super unfortunate, and I'm worried that it's going to get worse, because I'm concerned that Pangaea and Shinuyama are going to take out Nazca and then turn on me. Once again, that's an issue that I don't have a good way to stop at this point. because now I might be able to persuade Shinuyama to help me attack Ashdod. That's kind of my hope there. However, Pangaea is scary. Pangaea is... Where's Pangaea itself again? I was there. Yeah, Pangaea's over here. Pangaea's got a big old slice of territory. Pangaea is large. And, of course, they also have Mother Oak, so they are raking in the nature gems hand over fist. Regrettably, I don't have anything I can do about them right now. I don't have an option. So, I'm just going to have to ignore them and be peaceful with them and concentrate on dealing with my own problems. I really wish I could do something about them, but I can't, so I won't. And I'm not going to worry about it. Ying Ying is going to head down here to Shinuyama, see if she can get their... I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my words. Their graphs, their score graphs. And up here, we will just continue to fight back Shinuyama. So that's basically going to be the turn. I am really hoping that something kind of shakes loose pretty soon. Once I have those eunuchs, I'll shake these troops loose and push them into Shinuyama. I need to kind of establish my a line of some kind along here, and I need to definitely have a stronger answer to raiding thugs. If I can do that and force him into battlefield confrontations, then I should be able to handle the Skella spam, but we'll see how it goes. So that was turn 34, and I will see you all in turn 35. Okay, Mandala turn 35. The counter-strike has started. We can see Ashdod does in fact have a pretty significant army over here still. Not as big as the last time I saw it, but it's mainly Anakites, so it's still quite dangerous. Even without a bless, Anakites are pretty rad. We've retaken this province from Jotunheim, and we're collapsing on Swamp of Solitude. Still worried about this. Still worried about this army. It's smaller than it was, but I've contacted Bandar Log. He is trying to figure out whether he should be attacking Ashdod or Satis, so he says. That says I'm still a little bit skeptical, so not moving any of these guys for now. Did get a message from Jotunheim, where the player of Jotunheim says he would like a peace treaty where he keeps the provinces directly bordering his capital. That's fine with me, to be honest. Right now, I got a little bit of land off Jotunheim, especially because I'm going to take this back and this also. And given that, I'm much more concerned about Ashdod, to be honest. I'm pretty sure this is where he's recruiting those Garnet sorceresses from. At least I think it is. And so I'm concerned, shall we say. Very concerned. And I need to get rid of that as soon as possible. After that, Ashdod won't be... I mean, Ashdod is still a good nation, but without blood, he won't be as dangerous. So, we're forging a Dwarven Hammer with Sun Wukong, which will be useful later in the game. I probably won't forge more than 2 or 3 of those. I won't need all that many, because I'm not going to rely primarily on items. More Voice of Apsu, more Living Mercury, and we're manifesting Vitriol, of course. And so we should be pretty good for summoned creatures coming up soon. We're starting to gather troops in Pergami for our attack. And these troops from down here will also move up there to attack. We've got our eunuchs recruited in some places. We're recruiting 2 eunuchs over here in Ministra, and an Imperial Geomancer and a eunuch down here in Ulm. We already recruited 2 eunuchs. I don't think we need another 2 sets, another set. So let's go back to Imperial Geomancers. And should be fine. So that, I think, is going to be the turn. We've hit Thaumaturgy level 4, going up to Thaumaturgy level 5. Didn't find any magic sites. A few battles. Shinuyama bounced a general off of a province conquered by independence last turn by the Throne of Gaia. And did he have any gear? No, this was a crippled and cursed general that they just sent in to die. So, I suppose technically he succeeded. Yeah, he just got trampled to death. Well, he didn't get trampled completely to death, but he got routed. And then he, was punched multiple times. Did he actually die? It looks like he doesn't actually die. It looks like he ran away. Okay, well, good for him, I guess. Yeah, he ran away. In Nidian range, Shinuyama hit Nazca, wiped him out. We had an ill omen there. More misfortune there. We have a death match coming up in 3 turns. And in Juno Forest, Bandar Log lost a province to independence. So overall, not a very exciting turn. And Bandar Log has claimed the Crystal Throne. So I'm not sure which one that is. Could be this one. Could be this one. That gives them crystal sorceresses. No, we have crystal sorceresses. What's the Crystal Throne again? What does the Crystal Throne give you? Crystal mages. Yes, the Earth Astral mages. So those are very, very good, especially for nations that don't natively have a whole lot of Earth access to go with their Astral. So that's really handy. I don't really need them, but a lot of other people would love to have them. So, my plans, research-wise, thaumaturgy, construction, conjuration, still the same. Gathering troops to strike at Plane of Memories. And after that, we'll kind of go from there. Nazca is basically done for at this point. And Pangaea is about to get their capital, which is a little bit scary, especially given that Pangaea has been left alone all this time. So we'll kind of have to see what we have to do about that. But in any case, I will see you all in turn 36.